Okay, look at this. Here we are, you guys. We're in Sofia, Bulgaria. This is PK with Out of the Box. International traveling during the pandemic. That's right. This is PK with our episode of Out of the Box, really way out of the box. It's outside. I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm from Miami, Florida. My wife and I are here on 6 weeks on vacation. We're here, as you can see, it's a video shot, very cold, so we'll take it inside. One moment. Here we go, guys. Take my glasses off. And I'm going to tell you the name of the show is What's It Like Traveling, International Travel During the Pandemic? I just want to give you a little background. I'm 62. I have a Bulgarian wife. I lived here in Sofia, Bulgaria for 12 years. And we came last summer also, actually at the height of the pandemic. I'm going to tell you about that. The difference between traveling last summer, we went for 2 months, we went in July and August, and this year. We're here for 6 weeks, we came a little bit earlier this year. We have family here. I'm American, I was born in LA, Beverly Hills, Bel Air, the good parts of the neighborhood, but I've lived in Hawaii 5 years, in Maui, and spent from 2004 to 2016 living here in Bulgaria, happily married. But I want to tell you guys really what it's really like, what's the real deal, because forget about the news. You know, not many of us Americans, I'm able to come to Europe. Last summer, now I have that I call it the e-ticket in, the Disneyland e-ticket, to get into the country because I have a European wife. So the spouse, kid, immediate family, I get in no matter what. That kid never closes to me, so that's why I'm here. Anyways, that's my background. I live in Florida, in the West Palm Beach County area of Florida. Love it. We've been there for 6 years now. First of all, let me tell you about last summer, the difference between last summer and now. Last summer, I got my notes, by the way. As you don't know, excuse me for slurring my words, I'm not drunk. I had a brain aneurysm 20 years ago, and I'm screwed up. Maybe I can say that better here on the YouTube. And we went last summer for 2 months, at the height of the pandemic in America. Let me tell you about, I'm sure we were nervous, about the news. I wasn't quite sure, even though we talked to what's going on. Yes, in Europe last summer, they did bring that curve down, so all over. But they canceled all the flights. Actually, there was only one flight. We originally were on Lufthansa, which we take every summer. We go every summer to see our family here, and they canceled all the flights last year. There's only one flight that left from Miami, and we had to go to London and spend the day there at night, and then take another flight to Bulgaria. And it was not so easy, but actually the funny part is it was easier than this time. Anyway, so I was quite nervous about it because we know in America the shops and even in Florida the toilet paper, things are missing, a disaster. It was just a full panic. Everyone's flipping out here. The cases were rising. We went in July and August of last year. And here on the news, I don't care. It was MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. I don't care what news channel you're watching. We're all watching. They said Europe is a disaster, and all the beaches are closed in Greece and Spain and it's a disaster over there compared to, they always think it was a disaster in Europe. So, of course, you're nervous. Well, I can tell you, first of all, when we came, we know the plane was 2/3 empty. The one flight out of London, it took American, it was empty. And they were very relaxed. Yes, you have to wear masks, but they were, believe me, you would have thought last summer they really would have enforced these things. Remember, there was no testing compared to this year. Anyway, to get in. So what I want to tell you is that when we got here, I got to and made it to Bulgaria, and even in the UK, of course, the airport's empty. But nobody's wearing any masks. The people act relatively normal. Even in London, going in people in the shops had to wear masks, but the people was nothing like there was this panic. And then when I made it to Bulgaria and Sofia, I felt things were normal. Everything was open. Going out to restaurants, yes, the workers had some masks on, but you could still go in. There's nobody. You didn't feel this panic, this, and plus this right-left political narrative. Either you're on the right, you're on the left. This doesn't exist over here. So it felt so normal. It was such a relief to come here last summer. And the last thing I want to mention is it turns out we went to Greece last year. The beaches, everything was open. In Spain, in the Greek Isles, I went to Mykonos in August. I got the pictures to prove it. So all those things we were told on the TV was not true. All the YouTube sites, I don't care what they said, I was here, I saw it with my own eyes. The flying was easy. There was no panic in Europe. Remember, I'm talking about last summer. And this was in the height of the pandemic. You would think it'd be worse. The beaches are open. And you can say, PK, was it empty? No. There was 75% full because all the Europeans, yes, it was closed to us Americans, all went. Yes, maybe 25% were afraid to travel. And of course, they were not recommending traveling. And yes, you had to get a PCR test last summer to enter into Greece. 3 days, no big deal. But I'm telling you, the party was on. It was really incredible. We had I probably had one of the best summers here. Last summer, it should have been the worst summer. The last thing I'll say is going shopping in the market here in Sofia was nothing like going to the Publix there in Florida. In Florida, they have Publix. We know the Ralphs and Gelson's from the West Coast. I can tell you, everything was full. They had full everything. It was really mind-blowing coming from last summer. Okay, so that's last summer travel. Okay, you guys, what's it like now? You would think now half the country vaccinated. Now America is the opposite. Europe is a disaster. The vaccinations is a full mess. In fact, Germany, it was crazy in that Germany. So everything's flip-flopped. So you would think the traveling would be a little bit easier. But now, let me tell you this. Now, we left 2 weeks ago. I'm here for another 4 weeks. We're going to spend more money on testing than the plane ticket. And I'm now, they got flights. We flew Lufthansa like we always do to Frankfurt. Of course, the airport's empty. Yes, the flight was the same, 2/3 empty. But now the stewardess and people working, they're so restrictive. If you don't have that mask on your nose the full time, they want to throw you. They want to arrest you. In fact, when we got to that Frankfurt airport 2 weeks ago, I can tell you, some people were apologizing to me as they know I'm an American. There are no Americans there. Flying is still closed. Yes, they're talking about opening vaccinations. I read say you can go maybe to Greece or Italy. They're talking about these things. From only a few locations, maybe from the JFK in New York. But the bottom line is this Germany, I mean, and they're all so freaked out. And even now here in Sofia, of course we want to go to Greece. And they don't have the flights together. I want to tell you is that it's much more now. It's a big grind now here. The people are afraid. I see people wearing masks on the streets and young people, and the whole mood has gotten much worse. Maybe they weren't expecting the wave from last summer to this year, and they'd be way behind in the vaccinations. And we had to be tested leaving from Miami to get here. We had to be tested coming home, as I mentioned. So the whole vibe this summer, which I would have thought would be much easier than last summer, because we all feel, most of us feel there's some hope in the future that's coming to an end compared to last summer. But actually it's all flip-flopped. Now everyone here is very paranoid about the variants and wearing masks, and people are screaming at me when I walk into a shop now without my mask on. Where last summer I had to walk, nobody said a word, nobody cared. Now they're all freaked out. So anyway, my conclusion is, the whole thing still makes no sense to me. You know, we go, part of PK and this, my out of the box and really living out of the box, the whole lifestyle is about, just we go. Nothing stops us. I'm grateful. Waiting, hoping we can go to Greece in 2 weeks. It is a great experience to be able to travel. That's why I'm telling you guys, what the reality is, because unfortunately, what's happened, none of us can really, after coming last summer, I can't trust anything that's on the news. In fact, I stopped watching the news, all the news channels at home, when I got back last summer, because how it was just so wrong in every possible way. And since I'm the only American of all my friends, and forget I'm 62, I have a pretty high profile, and nobody can get in unless I'm the only one who's got a European spouse, So I wanted to tell you guys that's what it's like, and I'm hoping it'll be easier. We're coming back on June 30th, back to Miami, and but I'm not so optimistic as I was a few months ago, with all these things. I don't know what's going to happen. The vaccine passport, we know they're traveling onto they're going to make this mandatory or not, this and that. We know with the cruise ships they're doing. But I can tell you right now here in Europe, it's end of May 30th. I want to tell you it's screwed up here. It's nothing like at home. We've turned the corner, and they went backwards. So anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. This PK with that update of really what is it like to travel, international travel during the pandemic as an American, if you can find a way to get here, and what does the future look like? Maybe they'll open. I know Europe, the EU, they want Americans. They want to open up, but will they do it? I don't really know what's going to happen. So anyways, PK with another episode of Out of the Box. Wish everyone a great day. Hopefully this will get easier. And ciao, everybody. Take care.